Hey, welcome to the Tom the Bomb Sports Talk Show, the fastest growing sports show in the world. Monday, October 7th, 2024, and this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. If you don't think it's a great day, just try missing one. And we, Love, love sports. On the Tom the Bomb Show, I'm your host, Tommy Wood. Got another fantastic show for you. Hey, gang, the show is live, okay? There's a lot going on. Tom the Bomb's a little bit more excitable, and I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm actually nervous, and that's just so weird because I'm hardly ever nervous, but Tom the Bomb is actually nervous today because, like I said, it's our first show. We got a lot of different things going on. Like I say, our show is live. So our call-in number here is 301-655-9992. Again, that's 301-655-9992. Of course, you can join us live on Facebook and YouTube. YouTube right after this airing. And of course, you can now contact us by email. Our email is info@tomthebombsports.com. Again, that's info@tomthebombsports.com. Or you can always go to our website. Hey, website? Yep, Tom the Bomb, we done launched a new website. So our new website as well, you can go to our website. Our website is www.tomthebombsports.com. Again, that's www.tomthebombsports.com. To contact us and pick up your favorite Tom the Bomb sports gear, or coming soon, our line of Agree with God apparel for hats, tees, hoodies on your favorite coffee or tea mug as well. As usual, we want to start the show off by thanking for God for all the wonderful things that He's already done for us in 2024. Of course, we know that this is still the year of fixed purpose, okay? Proverbs 4:25 tells us that in the easy to read Bible version, it says, keep your eyes on the path and look straight ahead. Make sure you are going the right way, and nothing will make you fall. This is what's going to allow you to ignore life's daily distractions. And the Bible tells us that the enemy comes for the word immediately, okay? It's not even Tom the Bomb, They're not coming for Tom the Bomb. The word says the enemy comes for the word immediately. So today is our first show away from WBJR. So, let's just talk for a minute. I can't even get into all the obstacles that the enemy has been throwing at Dr. Lauren and me. And I'm actually ashamed to tell you that Tom the Bomb's actually been a little discouraged. And, and as far as discouragement, I'm like the Olympics. I get discouraged every 4 years. Okay. And Tom the Bomb is actually, I've been a little bit discouraged. But look, that's okay, because we all get discouraged from time to time. As a matter of fact, Pastor Tyrone Marshall of VCMI Washington, D.C. is going to be coming on the show real soon to talk to you specifically about being discouraged, okay? So real quick, discouragement is one of Satan's greatest weapons. Discouragement comes from when our plans don't work out. Discouragement comes when when our plans don't work out and we have unmet expectations. That's what leads to discouragement. So we all get discouraged, but staying discouraged is a bad choice. And it's a bad choice because it'll make you quit and disconnect from God. So you have to get your mind right. Proverbs 4:23 says, above all, be careful what you think, because your thoughts control your life. And if you get defeated in your mind, you're going to be defeated in your life. And Tom the Bomb ain't having that. And neither are you, because you're here watching and listening. So we ain't having it, okay? So hard time comes for everyone. It really does. The word says it rains on the just and the unjust. Hard time comes for everybody. But here's the thing. You're not on a cruise ship. And I don't know why that believers tend to think that this life that we're living is supposed to be a walk in the park. You ain't on no cruise ship. You're on a battleship. And on a battleship, people are shooting at you. Okay? When you're on a battleship, people are trying to take you out. The word says he comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Does that sound like he's playing? No, he ain't playing. And me, I'm playing. I ain't playing. Me, I'm playing. No, he's coming to take you out. And here's the thing. Life is about 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you respond to it. And quitting is not an option. It's not an option for me. It's not an option for you. Amen. So, so today when I was out blowing my leaves, because that's what I do when I spend my time with the Lord, and I'm out blowing my leaves, and he brings this passage to mind, and I think it's in Joshua, I'm not sure, but is after he let the Israelites out of Egypt, and they were in the land, and he told them that they were going to conquer this land, and they decided that they were going to send out spies to scout the land. Now, here's the problem with that. Sending out spies to scout the land, that wasn't God's plan. See, God said you're going to conquer. So if God said you're going to conquer, why do you need to send out spies? See, that's not God's plans. He said you'll win. He says that you're more than a conqueror. He says that you'll overcome. So why do we need to send out spies? And Tom the Bomb was guilty as charged of sending out spies. So when we were at our Mighty Men of Valor meeting earlier this year, I took it to the altar and I asked the Lord, what is it that you want me to do with the Tom the Bomb show? And man, he told me what he was going to do. He gave me the plan for the Tom the Bomb show at our Mighty Men of Valor conference. So here's the deal. He gave me the plan. So no matter what the enemy does, to get me to get me off the word, to get me unfocused, God gave me the plan. So who cares what it looks like? That was dumb on Tom the Bomb's part because he already told me what the plan was for the Tom the Bomb show. And over the next month, over the next few months, over this year, you guys are going to see that come to full fruition. We got a lot of exciting things coming. I just can't wait to get them all out and discuss them all with you. But hey, man, it is what it is, man. We just gotta, just like I said, it's the year of fixed purpose. And we got to keep our eye on the prize, and the prize is the word of God. And the enemy comes for the word immediately because he's trying to get you off the word because he don't want that word to germinate, to flourish, to prosper in your life. But he's already go to the end of the book. We win, man. We win. You don't like that hand, throw it in, because in the end we win. So it is what it is. I'm really excited. We're gonna have a good time. We got a lot of different things coming. Like I said, I'm not even going to go into all the different obstacles, but it's just absolutely been amazing, the attacks. And it's like, here's the thing. And I thought about this. I was like, okay, you're getting ready to step out into something that is going to expand the word of God worldwide. And you don't think you're going to be attacked? That is pretty dumb on my part. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? As soon as you make a stand on the word, he's coming. He's coming because the Bible tells us that the enemy comes for the word immediately. You know what immediately is? It's like if you drop $300 out your pocket, when do you pick it up? Now, as fast as you come to pick up that $300, the enemy comes for the word faster than that. Okay? Immediate. Back in the hood, we would say with the quickness. So, hey, man, let's jump in the show. Look, we don't have trivia today. We don't have polls. We do have a lot of different things. Hey, gang, what are we watching tonight? What are we watching? We got the New Orleans Saints versus Mother Wiggs Kansas City Chiefs at 8:15 p.m. on ESPN. I got as usual, I have a show outline here, but there's a couple of things that are really not in the show. I just kind of want to get off right up at the top. Number one, okay, listen, Caitlin Clark. won Rookie of the Year in the WNBA. Now, that should surprise no one. That really should surprise no one that Caitlin Clark won Rookie of the Year in the WNBA. And there was 67 votes, and Caitlin Clark got 66 of the 67 votes. Now, I want to be, and that one other vote went to Angel Reese. Okay, now let me just say it like this. If I was Angel Reese's daddy, I wouldn't have voted for her. And I love my daughter. I love Angel Reese. But who is this one person that voted for Angel Reese? You know, I tell you what it reminds me of. When Ken Griffey Jr. went into the Baseball Hall of Fame, he didn't get unanimous because one person thought that Ken Griffey Jr. shouldn't have went into the Hall of Fame. Now that's just absolutely, that's drinking that haterade. That's what that is. And I think Mario Rivera is the first player to ever get a unanimous. And then after that, Derek Jeter came right after him. But it's like, and I love Mario Rivera. I love Derek Jeter. But they aren't Hall of Famers over Ken Griffey Jr. So how is it that Ken Griffey Jr. doesn't get a unanimous Hall of Fame inducted? And by the same token, how is it that Caitlin Clark isn't a unanimous WNBA Rookie of the Year? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy, man. Like I said, I mean, seriously, if Angel Reese was my daughter, I would not have voted for her. Angel Reese had a great year. Great year. She did some record-breaking things for a rookie, but it don't compare to what Caitlin Clark done. That don't even compare. Other thing right off the top of the head, last week we honored my friend Dikembe Mutombo, but right after that we learned that Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose, passed away. And man, this has like always been a kind of a hard subject to talk about because Pete Rose is like the Dallas Cowboys. He's polarizing. People either hate him or love him. And I've always been a Pete Rose fan, and I've always said that if Pete Rose isn't in the Hall of Fame, there shouldn't be a Hall of Fame. And the reason I believe that is because, of course, Pete Rose admitted that he betted on baseball, but what Pete Rose did, he did as a manager. He didn't do that, and no one was going to put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame as a manager. But as a player, if Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame, then there really, really shouldn't be a Hall of Fame, okay? So, yes, he bet on baseball. Yes, he did some things. That was the number one rule that you're not supposed to do. But all those things happened to him while he was managing the Cincinnati Reds. And that's why, I feel like that he should have been be in the Hall of Fame. But, at the same token, Pete did this to himself. When all is said and done, you have to look in the mirror. And if you guys, I think we talked about this on a much earlier show, the documentary that HBO, the 4-part documentary that HBO has on Charlie Hustle. If you guys haven't seen that, you can go to YouTube or somewhere and check out, or Netflix or whatever, because it was really, really awesome. And being, and you guys know I'm a seam head, being a real true baseball fan, I really love the sport and I follow it. I found out things about Pete Rose that I didn't even know. I mean, like really, I'm like, wow. So it's really, really a good documentary. Dr. Lauren loves documentaries. So even if she'll watch that kind of stuff, but you guys check that out. So, we just wanted to send our condolences to the Rose family. I always said that if Pete Rose got into the Hall of Fame, it wasn't going to be until he was dead. And it just seems to be that's the way it's going to work out. And a lot of people were saying, well, you know what? If you're not going to put the man in while he's alive, why put him in at all? Shoeless Joe Jackson is still not in the Hall of Fame. So there's an argument for that as well. But hey, man, Pete's deserving. His play and performance on the field makes him a Hall of Famer, whether he's in Canton, or not Canton, that's the Football Hall of Fame, whether he's in the Baseball Hall of Fame or not. What are you going to say, Lori? Alrighty, hey man, let's get to the show. Alrighty, let's start off. Hey man, it's October, so what does that mean? It's baseball playoffs. I know, and we know the NFL rules, but we talking about playoffs. Playoffs? Yeah, it's Major League playoff. And man, you guys know I'm a Cardinal fan, and you know how bad the Cardinals have been this year. But I normally watch all the Cardinals games, but when the playoffs start, man, the baseball is so good. So we're going to start off with the Mets and the Phillies, and so I'm just going to click on Mets and Phillies, right, Lori?
Yep.
Oh, that's my girl. We're going to click on Mets and Phillies, and here's the thing, man. Man, these New York Mets are flat out dangerous, man. When you think about, if you've ever been to New York, there's some places, and I don't want to get in trouble for this, but there's some places in New York you don't really want to be at nighttime, if I can just kind of say it like that, if I can keep it clean. And man, the way these New York Mets are playing, they all hanging out in those places that you ain't supposed to be, man. These boys are cutthroat, man, and man, they are playing ball, and they just don't quit. They don't give up, man, and they got the Phillies on the rope. OMG. Oh my God. I'm watching this game, man. The Mets are getting me up out of my seat, and I'm rooting for them. And they kind of remind you of the Arizona Diamondbacks last year. If you guys remember Mad Dog, you should never ever say crazy things. Mad Dog was like, if the Arizona Diamondbacks make it to the World Series, I'll quit my job. And then Arizona Diamondbacks made it to the World Series. And that dude was on the air the next day. And I was like, come on, man. You can't say stuff. Look, Tom the Bomb ain't never going to say, if so-and-so something, I'm never going to do. I ain't saying that. But these Mets, they remind me of the Diamondbacks. But they're more dangerous, man. They have more, and you don't have to have top flight talent to be dangerous. Case in point, Kansas City Royals. We're gonna talk about them in a minute. But these guys are dangerous, man. And it's something about, because the Mets had the second best record in all the National League. Not the Mets, the Phillies. I mean, the Phillies had the second best record in all the National League. And so what happens is, you go out, you win your division, you have the best record. So that puts you in a position where you get buys. But man, I've been watching this for long enough now. It seems like those teams that sit and wait, and then they come up against those wild card teams that's been scrapping just to get in the playoffs. And it's like they're already in that mode. They're already hot. And this is going to be a very, very interesting series to watch. And, the Phillies are, I don't want to say heavily favorites, but the Phillies are favored. And you know what, man? I kind of like the Mets in this series. And here's the thing. I think the Phillies, and we always talk about good pitching beats good hitting. And from a starting pitching standpoint, I think the Phillies have the best starting pitching in all of baseball. So that automatically kind of makes them a favorite. But man, there's just something about this Mets team. They like a bad penny. They just keep showing up. They like that proverbial rock in your shoe, man. And these guys, it's like they waiting for you at the corner, at the dark end of the corner. And when you get down there, they gonna jack you, man. But this is really exciting. The series is now tied 1-1. But listen, man, the Phillies could have very easily been down 2-0 last night. Now, real quick, let me just rehash and go back to game one, just real quick, because like I said, I love baseball, and I see this every year. Zach Wheeler. Like I said, the Phillies have the best pitching. Zach Wheeler pitched 7 innings, 2 hits. He had the Mets handcuffed. They couldn't do nothing with that guy. And then the manager takes him out after the 7th inning. And man, you could see the whole Mets team just take a breath like, oh man, we glad this guy's gone. And then they jumped on him the next inning and scored 5 runs and won game 1. Now, we saw Toronto do this. We saw the Blue Jays do this. I don't know what be on these managers, managers and coaches, where they're just over-managing and over-coaching. Look, if it's during the season where you got 162 games and you got your ace starter out there and he's pitched 7 scoreless innings, okay, we got another 150 or 155 games go. Let's get him out and rest him because we got another 150 games to go. But we're talking about the playoffs. Playoffs? Yet we're talking about the playoffs where it's do or die. And this guy is unhittable and you're taking him out the game. Man, it just amazes me how these managers are losing games with mismanagement, man. There's no way that the Mets should have won game one. So the Phillies come back and win game two. So conceivably, really, the Phillies should be up 2-0 in this series, but just as easy, the Mets could also be up 2-0. So, hey, man, it's a coin flip. Watch out for the Mets. They dangerous on the corner. Okay, I'm closing that out, mama. That one right there?
Yeah.
All righty. Okay, we just hit the next one?
Yep.
All righty. Work with me here, guys. Let's skip that. All righty. All righty, our next game was the I think it's the San Diego Padres. Trying to get to the skip part. All righty. Yeah. So our next game was the San Diego Padres versus the Los Angeles Dodgers. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Bingo. Work with me, guys. Hey. You know what, man? Listen. You know, for the last 3.5, almost 4 years, you know, hey, I'm the talent, man. I come in, I sit in front of the cameras, the lights go on, they count me down 3, 2, 1, and I do my thing, yeah. But you know, now all of a sudden we're in the Tom the Bomb Studios, and that means Tom the Bomber is responsible for the lighting, the equipment, the cameras. So you guys wait. This is our first show, and I'm just going to share this with you. You know, we ordered our equipment from Amazon 3 weeks ago, and we still don't have our equipment, you know. So we pulling a Ray Charles. We making it do what it do, baby. You know, we making it do what it do. So work with me on this. I ain't up to putting up the videos and all that kind of stuff. But you guys work with me. You know, Tom the Bomb gonna have this down pat in a minute. But you guys know Dr. Lauren is hooking a brother up, you know, because that's what she do. So let's get on to this series. The Dodgers have been the team all year. In the beginning of the season, I had the Dodgers and the Yankees being in the World Series. And you say, well, that's kind of easy pick. But man, these teams are so loaded. They're so loaded in talent that how can you not pick against them? But what's great about baseball is the Mets don't care nothing about that. And more importantly, the San Diego Padres don't care nothing about the Dodgers, man. And now that we're in the playoffs, man, it's on like popcorn. And just like I was talking to Gus about this, just like the Dodgers are loaded, the San Diego Padres are loaded too, man. I mean, up and down that lineup, man. I mean, oh my goodness, man. They got Xander Bogaerts, who's a MVP player. I think he bats 7th, you know? I mean, I haven't seen killers in that lineup since the Cleveland Indians, who are the Guardians now, and they had Manny Ramirez batting 7th. I'll never forget that. Manny Ramirez was batting 7th. The guy who was leading all of postseason in home runs was hitting 7th, you know? So, this series, man, it's just who wants it. And what I like about this series is they don't like each other. I mean, they really don't like each other. I mean, I would not be shocked if we end up seeing a fight before this series breaks open. But they're loaded. But you know, look, man, when you look at the Dodgers, man, let's start off with Shohei Ohtani. Man, this guy, and you know, when you start talking about players in a historical aspect, I hate it when fans, they have this recency bias, you know, like case in point. People that think LeBron James is the GOAT, you know, that's recency bias. You know, those are people who are not 30 years old, you know, because they really didn't actually see, well, let's say 35 because Troy's 30, and you guys all know Troy loves LeBron James. So let's say 35 to 40 because they really, really didn't see MJ play. They just saw videos of MJ, but they've grown up on LeBron, you know, and I love LeBron, but, you know, LeBron is not the GOAT. And so for me, the greatest baseball player ever is Willie Mays. There's no doubt about it. It's Willie Mays. Hank Aaron, who's like the top 2 or 3 players of all time, he says Willie Mays is the greatest. And then, of course, you have Babe Ruth. But listen, being a seam head, being a serious baseball fan, listen, let me tell you something. Every time you see Shohei Ohtani play, you're looking at the greatest baseball player who ever lived. Man, what this guy is doing is unprecedented. It's unbelievable. I mean, I think we all know that, hey, Babe Ruth used to pitch, and Babe Ruth was a good pitcher. Babe Ruth pitched in the World Series. Had an ERA under 2, if I'm not mistaken. So Babe Ruth was a good pitcher, but he didn't do that for very long, man. This guy is the first player to go 50-50, 50 home runs with 50 stolen bases. And then he's still one of the top pitchers in all of baseball. Not on his team. He's one of the top pitchers in all of baseball. And he doesn't just hit for slug. He hits for averages. He steals base. He's a legitimate 5-tool player. So I'm old school, man. And, you can't tell me that Willie Mays is not the greatest baseball player that ever lived. He's not, man. It's number 17 for the Dodgers, man. And here's the thing. This kid is young, barring injuries. We could see him for the next 10, 15, maybe even 20 years. And the great thing is, he hurt his arm, so he's not pitching at all this year. And he's just DHing, and he's going to win. He's going to join Frank Robinson. This could have been a good trivia question. He's getting ready to join Frank Robinson as the only player in Major League Baseball to win the MVP in the American League and the National League, because he is going to win the MVP this year in the National League. When he was in the American League, him and Judge was like flipping coins. But, man, this guy is unbelievable. If you saw that 3-run jack that he hit, man, I mean, and he hits for average. He hits to the gaps. He hits for power. He hits for average. He can run. He can throw. He can catch. This guy does it. This guy is Superman. Listen, this guy has the real superstars in baseball. They're in awe of him. And that's just because we ain't never seen what this guy's doing. So who do you like? You got, look, I saw something that I thought I'd never see. The Dodgers walked a guy to get to Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman's an MVP. You walked a guy to get to an MVP with Betts, with Ohtani, Betts, and Freddie Freeman? Oh, man. That's lions and tigers and bears. Oh, my. I mean, wow, And with all that being said, the Padres can beat them. The Padres can beat them, and they can beat them because it still comes down to pitching. And good pitching beats good hitting. But boy, betting against number 17 right now, that's like betting against Mother Wiggs, Patrick Mahomes. Don't do it, Benny. It's suicide. Okay? All righty. Okay. Work with me here, guys. Alrighty, next up, we got the we're talking the Kansas City Royals versus the New York Yankees. Hey, is it possible we could have a Subway Series here? It's possible. We had one back in the early 2000s. The Yankees are the Dallas Cowboys of baseball. It makes me sick that you can't turn on ESPN without seeing something about the Dallas Cowboys. But that's who the Yankees are in baseball. But here's the thing. The Yankees are deserving of it. Okay? That's the difference. I mean, the Yankees have won more championships than any sports team in the history of sports. So the Yankees actually have earned it. And you got the Bruce brothers with help me out here, Lori. The MVP. Oh man, I'm having a brain fart here. But the Yankees are loaded. Okay, they're like the Dodgers. They go out and they pay for play, if I can say that. And the Royals are going up under the radar, man. Let me tell you something, man. This is a good baseball team in Kansas City, man. I know baseball, and this ain't gonna be no walk in the park for the New York Yankees to get past the Royals. And if they do get past the Royals, this still going through the Central, because then they're possibly going to have to deal with either Detroit, who's in the Central, or the Cleveland Guardians, who are in the Central. And the Yankees and the Guardians had the best records in the American League. But so it's real easy to just say, hey, the Yankees are loaded. They're going to take this series, man. But I'm going to tell you something. It'd be a real mistake to count the Royals out, man. What's great about this time of the year is you have to play these games on the field. You don't get to play these games on paper. And, you know, it's playoffs. It's playoffs. And you can't count nobody out. If the Royals get hot, they can do it. All righty. They can do it. I don't have a time limit. All righty. Let's move on. So I should stop here, right, babe? Okay. All righty. Here we go. All right, let's move on. Let's talk some football now. Hey, listen, in college, we had, you know, possibly the upset of the year, man. You know, breaking news, Vandy upset #1 Alabama. Now, a week ago, we were just talking about Alabama and Georgia being like the game of the year, you know. And then, and Nat Wood said this, you know, everybody gets up for Alabama. They do. But Georgia is a team that Alabama actually get up. This is the classic, what they call trap game. It's the trap game. You're playing possibly the biggest matchup of the year could have been Alabama and Georgia. So everybody gets up for Alabama, but Alabama got up for Georgia. And Alabama was ready to play. And they went in there and they stuck it to Georgia. And they moved to the #1 ranking, which I don't know how they jumped past Texas like that anyway. But they jumped past them. So then next week, guess what? We got Vandy. We got Vanderbilt. We got the Commodores. You know, Lionel Richie ain't singing with them no more, so we could beat them. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got Lionel. They're going to be easy like Sunday morning. We're going to go in here and get this W, and that's just going to be it. But guess what, man? You got to play these games on the field, man. And Vandy comes up with the biggest upset of the year, beating the Crimson Tide 40-35. Unbelievable. Look, man, you talking about kids, man. You don't know how. And here's the thing. Listen, the best player on Alabama's team is 17 years old. You can't tell a 30-year-old what to do. How you going to tell a 17-year-old what to do? Look, man, they came in, they smashed Georgia, they had a fantastic game. It's just natural, especially for kids, to just kind of have a letdown. It's like, hey, man, we just knocked out Mike Tyson. I got to fight Gus next week. That's going to be a walk in the park. You know what I'm saying? And then I mosey on down to Chicago and Mike take me fishing, and then and the next thing I know, I'm sleeping with the fishes. Get the cannoli, leave the guns. That's what happened. That's what happened to Alabama, man. Vanderbilt took them out in the boat and fishing. And look, they tried to say Hail Mary. It didn't help them. Man, that's why these college sports are great, man. You got Vanderbilt upsetting #1 Alabama 40-30. What an upset! What a game, man. That's fantastic. Let's get to it, gang. Let's get to what everybody came for. Let's get to the big boys. Let's get to the NFL. Did we do our flyer update? East St. Louis Flyers. I think they had Belleville West. They crushed them. Do we need to say more? I think they put up 60, if I'm not mistaken. All righty. Let's see if we can get to the next game. Uh-oh. All righty. Okay. Our first game of the week is we have the Atlanta Falcons versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This was a very, very good game, man. Listen, man, you know Tom the Bomb plays fantasy football, and Dr. Lawrence says it's frustration football. And Kirk Cousins set a record throwing for over 509 yards. That offense that we've been looking for all year showed up. And Kirk Cousins wasn't on anybody's fantasy team. He scored almost 100 points, and he wasn't on anybody's fantasy team. Tom the Bomb picked him up the following week. But let me say it. But this is what they went out and spent $100 million for Kirk Cousins, man. And I told you guys in week 1 that Kirk Cousins looked hurt, that he didn't look healthy. People like to dog Kirk Cousins out, and I don't understand why. He was here in Washington for quite a while, and I don't know how to say this, so I'm just going to say it because Tom the Bomb is a straight shooter. I ain't never in my life seen a white quarterback get treated as bad as Kirk Cousins got treated in Washington. I ain't never seen that before, man. And Kirk Cousins has made more money than Forrest Gump, man. I mean, he's been racking it up, but this is the guy that they was expecting, and he's coming off his injury, man, and he beat a good Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. Nat Wood say Tampa Buccaneers going to be in the NFC Championship game. It's possible because that's a really, really good team they got in Tampa. But, man, Captain Kirk came in. He did his thing. I thought Tampa still should have won this game, but, hey, man, Kirk's known for coming back in the fourth quarter, and he did it the week before against the Eagles, and he came back and did it against Tampa Bay. Tom the Bomb took an L on this one because Tom the Bomb took the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom the Bomb, listen, man, look, man, we're in week 5. If you've been watching the NFL, man, and you're still betting on NFL football, you should be discouraged. You should really be discouraged if you're still betting on NFL football, man. Man, you can't pick these, man. You can't pick it, man. You can't pick it, man. You can't do it. It's suicide betting. These two teams are going to be interesting. I think in the beginning of the season, people just right off and picked the Falcons to win this division, and it was a good win over Tampa Bay. But man, I still think that the Falcons are doing it with smoke and mirrors. And they've won some good games, but they haven't really proved it to me yet. Even though Tampa lost this game, I still think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a better football team than the Atlanta Falcons. So we'll leave it at that. It's the Bucs prevail. Tom the Bomb took an L on that one. Alrighty. Our next game is the New York Jets. New York Jets versus the Minnesota Vikings, the undefeated Minnesota Vikings, the 5-0 Minnesota Vikings. I told you last week they made a believe out of me, man. It's funny because Minnesota is winning because of their defense, and Brian Flores is the defensive coordinator for Minnesota. And I saw something on Facebook I thought was really kind of clever and funny, and it's the same reason that Brian Flores lost his job as a head coach is the same reason that they're winning in Minnesota. He's hard on quarterbacks. according to Tua, yeah, he's hard on quarterbacks. But I'm gonna tell you, on that defensive side of the ball, man, he's doing a fantastic job of confusing quarterbacks. Now, Brock Purdy is one of the most heady quarterbacks in the NFL. I watched him totally befuddle and confuse the 49ers when they beat them. Then yesterday, you got Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is one of the top quarterbacks of all time. Aaron Rodgers was confused in that game. Aaron Rodgers has been around like Tom Brady, man. Peyton Manning. You usually don't fool or confuse those guys. Man, this guy had Aaron Rodgers confused, man. This defense is for real. We finally saw the offense struggle a little bit. Sam Darnold came back to earth, from sucking on the helium gas. But it's still, the defense was still stout enough to hold off the Jets and get a win. The Jets are fast becoming the Dallas Cowboys. that because they have Aaron Rodgers and they're in New York, the NFL keeps stuffing them down our throat. Listen, NFL, we don't want to see the Jets on TV every week. We don't. I mean, we already got to watch the Cowboys. Come on, man. Come on, give us a break. Come on, Benny, man. Don't be that way. Give us a break, man. But these Minnesota Vikings are for real. Tom the Bomb had the Vikings in this one, so Tom the Bomb takes a W on this one. Let's move on. That's all I can take of the Jets. Speaking of, speaking of, that's right, your Alice Cowgirls. The Sunday night football game. Now, I'm just going to say right off front, this was a good win for Dallas, especially considering the injuries that they have. But I'm going to tell you, Pittsburgh lost this game more than Dallas won this game. Dak just got his money. He just got his $60 million, and he should have got $60 million, whether he deserved it or not. That's what the market bear. He got his money, and Dak. Let me just say it like this: if the Cowboys get to the playoffs, and I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year, but if the Cowboys make the playoffs, this will be the exact type of game that they'll lose in the playoffs, where Dak Prescott is going to make critical mistakes and throw interceptions down the stretch that's going to eventually end up hurting this team. But like I said, I felt like the Steelers let this one get away. And here's the thing: the Steelers are well coached. They play great defense. They run the ball, and they usually don't turn it over. Pittsburgh isn't good enough to give up a win like this. I think this is going to hurt the Steelers down the road. They have Mike Tomlin as their coach, so what that means is they're going to be successful. They're going to have a winning season. But, kind of like the Falcons, I think they're kind of doing it with smoke and mirrors. And even though I like the Steelers, I love their defense. I love Mike Tomlin, the coach. I like Justin Fields. They still haven't shown me enough, But they have that formula. The formula we talked about: run the ball, stop the run, convert on third downs, and don't turn it over. That's the Steelers' MO. That's what they do, and that's why they win, and that's why they're successful. Let's move on. Alrighty, next we've got the Green Bay Packers and the LA Rams. And Tom the Bomb nailed this one. I like the Packers. I like what I'm seeing in Green Bay. Even when Jordan Love was hurt, this is still a good football team. And like I said, while Jordan Love was out, all they wanted to do was get 2 wins. While he was gone, they got the 2 wins. Okay, as a matter of fact, when Jordan Love came back, that's the game they lost. But the Packers will be there. The Rams got a lot of talent, but the Rams, like the 49ers, have a lot of injuries. And I just don't think they got enough to compete. They're 1-3 or 1-4, and they really should be. The one game they won, they shouldn't have won that. So, this was kind of an ease when Tom the Bomb had the Packers. We got a W on this one. I love Jordan Love. I love what he's doing in Green Bay. It's a good-looking team. They'll be there in the playoffs. Good win for the Pack. Alrighty, our next game. Our next game was the Cleveland Browns versus the Washington Commanders. Now, look, I got to say, look. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. Look, you guys know what a hypocrite is, a hypocrite. You guys know what a hypocrite is, right? Okay, watch this. My Washington Commanders. My Washington Commanders hammered the Cleveland Browns. Netwood out there, Netwood, Troy, Felix, like you ain't no Commanders fan. I tell you what I am. I'm a Jaden Daniels fan, man. I told you guys last week, man, this guy is must-see. Hey, look. And Tom the Bomb took the Commanders over the Browns, who have an actual real defense, man. Listen, so I love this because the Browns have a really, really good defense. And the Browns came into this game and they said, we are not going to let you run on us. He still ran for 82 yards, but they had a concerted effort to keep him in the pocket and stop him from running, and he still ran for 82 yards. But here's the thing, though. Man, like I told you guys last week, this guy is not running to be running like a Justin Fields. This guy, that play where he rolled out of the pocket and hit that guy in stride 40-plus yards down the field, man, I jumped up out of my seat like Nate Wood did. Like, he won't admit it, but I know he did. Man, and then he threw another dime that Scary Terry dropped. I mean, this kid is for real, and I can't wait to get to next week's predictions because I got a shocker for you guys, man. Listen, man, The sky is falling. The sky is falling. And it hit me in the head. It's a sign of the apocalypse. The Washington Commanders are the best team in the NFC East, and they are going to win that division. Oh, Tom DeBomb, it's just week 5. Are you kidding me? Listen, man. He's got that team believing. And, the quarterback get paid the most money because he is the leader, and people follow winning quarterbacks. That's why 49ers won, because they had Joe Montana. The New England Patriots won because they had Tom Brady. Wherever Peyton Manning went, they won because they had Peyton Manning. Jaden Daniels is that dude. Jaden Daniels is that guy. He's got his teammates believing in him. And, man, when the team starts believing in each other, that's what makes them a dangerous team. That's what the Kansas City Royals are. That's why the Yankees got to be careful, because those guys believe in each other, man. And this guy is must-see TV, and I can't wait to get to the highlight. Matter of fact, let's move on so we can get to our predictions for next week, because I want to talk a little bit more about him. Excellent game. Good job, Washington Commanders. Woohoo! Alrighty, our next game is the Buffalo Bills versus the Houston Texans. Tom the Bomb told you guys that Buffalo was going to get their second loss in a row. I sat right on. Well, actually, I was at WBGR, okay? But I told you guys last week, Buffalo was undefeated. They lost to Baltimore. I said, they're getting ready to lose 2 in a row. But you guys know that Tom the Bomb loved the Houston Texans. Tom the Bomb got a man crush on the Houston Texans. I love the Texans. I love their coach. I love C.J. Stroud. Dr. Lauren says C.J. Stroud's going to be on the Tom the Bomb show. Okay, all right. I received that in Jesus' name. Okay, but I love the Houston Texans. But I told you guys that they were going to get, and this was a good game. This was a close game. Buffalo could have very, very easily won this game, man. But I like what DeMeco Ryans is doing with these Houston Texans. Even when C.J. Stroud makes a mistake, he's that dude like Jaden Daniels. He can come back and bounce back from it. It's a good football team, man. And just like I told you guys, the Texans took them out. Great game. Let's move on. All right, our next game was the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots. And what I really want to say is, who cares? but that's not that's not nice. But believe it or not, this was actually a very, very entertaining game, man. And I've been saying this, and I don't know how I keep seeing all of these New England Patriots games. I guess because a couple of weeks ago we were in Connecticut. But the Patriots aren't getting the W's, but that coach has them playing hard, man. And Tom the Bomb took the Dolphins in this one, and this was a gamble because, we see how fruitful, how inept the Dolphins' offense is without Tua. You say, well, they shouldn't have paid him all that money. Well, we seeing why they paid him that money, because this offense is non-existent without Tua pulling the trigger, man. It's a West Coast offense. Everything is done on timing. And, I say this all the time, that if you put a quarterback in the wrong position, in the wrong system, he's going to look horrible. You get him in the right system, he's going to look great. That's one of the reasons Brock Purdy does so well. He's in the right system, that West Coast timing offense. If you brought Tua to the 49ers, he would excel there as well, because it's the system that makes Tua so good. The Dolphins got the win with their backup quarterback. But listen, man, for you New England Patriots fans out there, you guys really, really should be encouraged, man, because they are playing hard. They're in every single game, and they only have one win. They upset the Cincinnati Bengals, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But all the games that they've lost, they could have very easily won, because the New England Patriots have not been blown out yet, So they're competing. So kudos to the Patriots and their head coach, doing a good job. Alrighty, our next game is the Carolina Panthers versus Chicago Bears. The Bears. And Tom the Bomb took an L on this one because, once they took Bryce Harper out of Bryce Young, Bryce Harper, that's baseball. Once they took Bryce Young out of the starting quarterback, the Red Gun really got this offense really, really going. And with the exception of the quarterback play, the Carolina Panthers are not as bad as team as they think. Chuba Hubbard had a fantastic game. But hey, man, the Bears defense showed up, And like I told you guys last week, I'm not throwing Caleb Williams under the bus. This guy's not a Heisman winner and the number one pick overall for no reason. Okay, so he made some really, really great throws. Hey man, the Bears won. So congratulations to Chuck's Chicago Bears. Like New England, Carolina's getting better. Bryce Young, he's out of there. He's done. See ya. Alrighty, our next game was the Baltimore Ravens versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Now this was a shootout. The Ravens prevailed 41-38. Man, this was a flat-out shootout. Man, listen, man. Lamar made a play, the most spectacular 6-yard touchdown you ever want to see. He scrambled 34 yards on a 6-yard touchdown pass. And let me tell you what this play reminded. If you guys can go back and remember Randall Cunningham for the Eagles, the Eagles were playing the Buffalo Bills, and Bruce Smith sacked Randall Cunningham, and he hit him, and Randall Cunningham's knees never hit the ground. He caught himself with his hand. He got up and threw a winning touchdown in the end zone, or a touchdown in the end zone. That was the exact same play that we saw Lamar Jackson do yesterday against the Cincinnati Bengals. Man, Tom DeBomb took an L on this one because, the Cincinnati Bengals got the number 2 rated quarterback. They got 2 of the top wide receivers. They have one of the top scoring offenses, and they're 1-4. And something just is not adding up. And I felt like this game was really going to be desperate for the Bengals. That's why I took the Bengals, because I thought that the Bengals had to win this game, and this could have possibly been a trap game. And you know what? When all is said and done, the Bengals should have won it. They say, well, the kicker missed a field goal at the end of the game in overtime. But man, the holder dropped the ball, and all you see is the kicker missed the kick, but the holder dropped the ball, and it got Lamar off the snide from the fumble that he had. But man, let me tell you something, man. Lamar Jackson played quarterback yesterday, man. And let me tell you what I saw out of Lamar that I haven't been seeing him. He was planning and stepping and following through on his throws. Lamar gets in trouble. Lamar has a tremendously strong arm. And because his arm is so strong, he has a tendency to throw back off his heels. But when you throw backing up, what happens is your ball tends to sail on you. So if you watch Lamar Jackson play, what you'll see him overthrowing a lot of receivers. And that's what I said. Lamar Jackson is a tremendous, tremendous talent, but his mechanics as a quarterback, they're still not where they should be. But yesterday, he looked like the 2-time MVP that he is. His mechanics were a lot better. And if you watch this game, I consistently saw Lamar stand in the pocket, step up, follow through, not throwing off his back leg, and he had, he got a strong arm anyway, so he's gonna have velocity on the ball. But his mechanics were phenomenal yesterday, and that's why he put up those numbers. I don't know what to say about the Bengals, man. The Cincinnati Bengals, man. They're 1-4, and they're too talented to be 1-4. But I think they're in the toughest division in the NFL. The Bengals are now officially in trouble. They're officially in trouble. Alrighty, our next game was the New York G-Men over the Seattle Seahawks, and Felix keeps telling me that the Giants are a better football team than what people think. And here's what I'm going to tell you: they beat the Seattle Seahawks, the first place Seattle Seahawks, and that's a good football team in Seattle. So I don't want to hear block, kick, whatever. They were in that game. Seattle has a high-powered offense. And the G-Men won this game, man. I still kind of think it's a fluke. Tom DeBomb took Seattle like everybody did. Show me somebody who bet on New York in this game. And if you show me somebody that bet on New York in this game, and I got one word for you: fix. Man, that's why you can't bet on these NFL football games, man. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no reason on God's green earth that the New York Giants are supposed to beat the Seattle Seahawks. Well, they're all professionals, and on any given Sunday in Seattle, the Seahawks don't lose in Seattle, man. They lose 2 or 3 games every 2 or 3 years in Seattle, man. And you mean to tell me that the lowly New York Giants are going to come to Seattle, make that trip from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast, and beat the Seahawks? Tom Baum ain't having it. Great win for the Giants. Don't bet on football. Don't do it, Benny. It's suicide. Don't do it. All right, our next game is the Baltimore Colts and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Tom the Bomb took an L on this one because Tom the Bomb, I think the Colts are playing well. But I'm so happy for my dear friends who live in Jacksonville who are season ticket holders and they love their Jaguars. And this was a tough game, man. I talked to them early in the year, and I was like, man, I think they could have spent that $55 million on Trevor Lawrence a little better. You could get a really, really nice boat for $55 million, man. And right now, I think people would rather have a boat than Trevor Lawrence. But, boy, he came back and played yesterday. This was a tough fought game. I took Indiana because Indiana's a good football team. Indiana's a blue-collar football team, and they get overlooked because they're in Indianapolis, and they don't get a lot of publicity. They're not getting East Coast. They're not getting West Coast publicity, but that's a good football team. So this was a really, really good win for the Jags. It was a win that the Jags had to have. If the Jaguars don't win this game, they're like the Bengals. Their season's over. So congratulations to the Jags. I'm so happy for my dear friends in Jacksonville. All righty. Our next game, do we really have to do this one? Do we have to? Tom the Bomb, San Francisco 49ers, and the Arizona Cardinals. Do I need to, when I say don't bet on NFL football games, do I need to say any more? Listen, this is the second game in 3 weeks where my San Francisco 49ers have had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter and has lost to a division foe. The Rams have won one game. They beat the 49ers after being down 10 points in the fourth quarter. The Arizona Cardinals had won one game after being 14 points down to the San Francisco 49ers in the fourth quarter. Something's going on in San Francisco, and it's not just injuries. Okay, yes. The 49ers would be doing much better if they had Christian McCaffrey. But I'm telling you, man, this Mason kid, he's getting it done. In 4 games, he's rushed for over 400 yards. That's getting it done in the NFL, man. Listen, Brock Purdy's trying to do too much. Brock Purdy is holding on to the ball too long. Brock Purdy got sacked yesterday, and he held the ball for 11 seconds, and he got sacked. Wait, what did you just say? He held the ball for 11 seconds, and he got sacked. Look, man, if a quarterback holds the ball for 11 seconds, he ain't supposed to get sacked. He's supposed to get killed, okay? So, listen, Brock's doing a little bit too much. It's all like that. Like I told you, they're running that West Coast offense. Everything is done on timing. He's holding the ball too much. Now, their kicker got hurt, and that really, really hurt them down the stretch. But, at some point, when you win, the quarterback and the coach gets the hurrahs. When you lose, the coach and the quarterback gets the blame. That's what's going on in San Francisco. My Niners will still be there. They can still win the division. But, boy, they better straighten up and fly right quick. All righty. Our next game was James' Las Vegas Raiders versus the Denver Broncos. And Tom the Bomb nailed this one. That's some kind of defense that they got in Denver. And the rookie quarterback seems to be coming along, Football's simple, man. You run the ball, you stop the other team from running, you convert on third downs, and you don't turn it over. That's their winning formula, man. And it's that defense in Denver that's getting them these W's. It's not so much Bo Nix. He's a rookie quarterback. What do you expect out of a rookie quarterback? He's going to make some mistakes. He's going to make some good plays. He's good on his feet. He can run the ball. But we are talking about James' Las Vegas Raiders. And, I always said that the Raiders weren't going to do anything until Al Davis moved on. But after Al Davis passed on, his son took over. And at least Al Davis knew football. And and like Forrest Gump, that's all I'm going to say about that. Alrighty, that's pretty much it on the NFL games for the week. Let's get to our predictions. I think it's time for us to get out of here in our first show. So let's get to our predictions. So number one, on Thursday night, August October 10th, we got my San Francisco 49ers versus the Seattle Seahawks. And you guys know Tom the Bomb's taking the 49ers. That's just what I'm going to do. But Seattle is always the 49ers' toughest game, of anybody. So if you want to go with Seattle, I understand it. But the 49ers are now 2-3. And if they go to 2-4 and lose to another in-division opponent, it's gonna be looking bad for them. So I think the 49ers are gonna be motivated. I think they're gonna start pushing Christian McCaffrey to come back. But they've got a lot of injuries, man. And hey, man, I know it's next man up. But they've had enough injury where it's next man, and then now you got guys coming off the street who've been bagging groceries are now playing in NFL games. And I think that's kind of what's happening with the 49ers. The bottom line is the 49ers defense is letting them down. You got to score more than 23 points. That's true, but, you didn't have your kicker. But it's the defense, and the 49ers defense was supposed to be their calling card. But you had a defensive coach that had the number 2 defense in the NFL, and you let him go, and you bring in another guy. That's the boy genius there. That's his decision on that. And like I said, this blame is coming down where the 49ers are. Just like he gets all the credit for being the offensive genius that he is, them being 2-3, possibly 2-4 if they lose to Seattle, that's on the boy genius. Tom the Bomb's taking the Niners. Our next game is the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Bears. And hey, everybody in Jacksonville, be happy. You guys are going to get your second win. Tom the Bomb, this is the second week you done picked against the Bears, and the Bears beat you. Hey, I'm not going in the boat with Gus, but I'm not doing it. But I'm taking the Jags. Jags get their second win. Next game is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New Orleans Saints. This could be the best game of the week. It could be the best game of the week. Tom the Bomb like the Bucs. This is a tough one, man. This is really, really a coin flip, man. But Tom the Bomb's going to take the Bucs on this one. Let's get to the game that I want to talk about. All righty. The Washington... Wait a minute. My Washington Commanders... Hey, you guys ever see a hypocrite? Look, take a look at it. My Washington Commanders versus the Baltimore Ravens. Tom the Bomb is taking the Washington Commanders over Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens and King Derrick Henry? Yes. Now, all you Washington fans out there, y'all probably think, man, don't be jinxing our team, man. we don't want you rooting for us. Hey, man, I like Jaden Daniels. I really do. I love what he's doing. The offensive coordinator has done a brilliant job. I love how Washington has taken their offense to an upbeat. And what they're doing is they're stopping the defensive team from making substitutions. And, man, the worst thing what a defense hates is chasing a mobile quarterback. They hate that. That's one of the reasons Arizona beat my 49ers, because Kyler Murray and running quarterbacks always give the 49ers a problem. In basketball, there's a saying, teams that press don't like to be pressed. And that's true. Well, the Ravens have the ultimate running quarterback in Lamar Jackson. Teams that have running quarterbacks, they don't want to face another running quarterback. That's what they're going to get this week with the Washington Commanders. Tom the Bomb is taking the Commanders this week. Go Commanders. Get them, Jaden. Our next game is the Indianapolis Colts versus the Tennessee Titans. Tom the Bomb's taking the Colts on this one. Take the Colts. Our next game is the Houston Texans versus the New England Patriots. The Patriots giving it that old college try, but they're going against my Houston Texans. Tom the Bomb love the Houston Texans. Take the Texans in this one. We got the Cleveland Browns versus the Philadelphia Eagles. There's something going on in Philadelphia, but there's something even worse going on in Cleveland with Deshaun Watson. Take the Eagles on this one, okay? Then we got the LA Chargers versus the Denver Broncos. This will be a good football game. I just told you how good that the Broncos defense is, but take the Chargers in this one, okay? Take the Chargers in this one. Our next game is the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the James Las Vegas Raiders. Take the Steelers. Steelers get off the snide. Steelers will take this one. Then we have the Atlanta Falcons. We're in the 4 o'clock games now. We have the Atlanta Falcons versus the Carolina Panthers. Take the Atlanta Falcons in this one. All righty, here's the second game. We got the Detroit Lions versus the Dallas Cowgirls. Take the Lions. Listen, let me tell you guys something. Dallas could lose their next 6 games. Dallas is 2-3 right now. Yeah, 2-3. They could lose their next 6 games. This is going to be the first one. I'm not saying they're going to lose 6 games, but they could lose 6 games. And this is going to be the one. Take the Lions over the Cowboys. They owe them from last year when they cheated them in Dallas, okay? And then our last game is the Cincinnati Bengals versus the New York Giants. That was a fluke what the Giants did to Seahawks. The Bengals are 1-4. Take the Bengals in this one. They shouldn't be able to stop that offense. Hey, man, we don't have a poll question. We didn't have a trivia. Hey, listen, don't forget to check out our website at www.tomthebombsports.com. And you can also contact us by email at info@tomthebombsports.com. Hey, or you can give us a call at 301-655-9992. Hey, for dynamic, in-depth sports analysis and highlights for sports in the DMV and more, check out the Washington Sports Den on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on WBGR with my main man, Felix Bassey. Look for Felix back next week. Man, time flies when you're having fun. We're out of time here, but we sure do thank you for spending your time with us. Listen, may the gates of heaven open and pour an abundance of blessings down on you where there won't be room enough to contain it. Remember, if you want it, you got to confess it with your mouth and believe it in your heart that Jesus died on the cross and that he rose on the 3rd day, not a Thursday, just for you. Remember, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. God bless you. We'll see you on this same bat time at this same bat station. Tom the Bomb out. Woohoo! We'll see you guys next week, and we should be looking even better next week. Is that possible? Is it possible for you to look better next week? Mother Wig, what you think? What? Yeah. We're going to look better next week. Lori says we're going to look better next week. If Lauren said it, you can believe it. Tom the Bomb out. You guys have a good evening. God bless you.